record.
Yep,
Here we
it's
go.
recording.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Bonjour tout le monde. Like Michelle said, we're on vacation, so we're in a little different state of mind right now, but it's letting us do some Manie stuff without stress of our real jobs. So everybody here tonight, or I would say 99% of you are new to Manie. So we're going to walk through Manie Musicale with you, and then let some of our seasoned Manie Musicale participants, like Will, share their expertise and help you match up. If you have any questions, if you could put them in the chat, Michelle will help monitor that, and we'll answer those hopefully at the end, so we can see if there's a repeated question that's done more than once. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is thank you very much for your patience with a lot of the things this year as we get started and being willing to try something new. Michelle and I and Amber have worked really hard at pulling together the list this year, and we're very excited, as we always are. That's how we are.
The Maniac.
Yes, les trois mousquetières. So I also want to say that, I need to share my screen. You can't see that, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Oops. Entire screen. All right. Okay. First thing is, there is no right or wrong way to do Manie Musicale. So don't panic if you see something that somebody's done and you're like, oh my gosh, I missed that. It's however and whatever you want to do. So there's a mild start, a medium, or a spicy, and there's in between. With my 7th graders, I fall between the mild and the medium, and with my 8th graders, I fall between the medium and spicy. I'm definitely not as spicy as Michelle, because it's just not something I can handle within my curriculum at the same time, but we were able to make it work. So keep that in mind. There's no right or wrong way to incorporate the music and the stuff we're doing in your classes, and you don't have to do it all. The first thing, obviously, you want to familiar yourself with the songs and the videos before you show them to your students. You need to know your audience. We try to screen them as carefully as we can. We have a screening team that worked really hard on going through them, and everybody on the team representing all sorts of different levels, elementary, middle school, high school, to make sure that the songs were accessible and appropriate. But again, you need to know your audience. So make sure you familiarize yourself with the songs and the videos before you show them to anyone.
We also do have a list of disclaimers every year. So if there were a couple of things, you know, we all teach different levels. So if there was something that we thought some people might find a little bit off or not right for their audience, that you can always find that. It's on the website. It's on the teacher landing page. So just always check that out too.
And then you want to obviously introduce the songs and videos to your students. And again, there are several ways you can do this. And we hope everybody got the teacher landing page. I can send that out again, but it's also in the Facebook group. But the videos, everything's hyperlinked, video links, the audio, when you need to vote, the disclaimers are down here on the bottom. So using this as your home base would be a great idea, just to keep things together. And there is 2 more slides after this, but they're linked by like another one like this. So here are some of the lyrics, where the lyrics are, the games, the mashup, the bracket, the bulletin board materials, and the Manie website, the resources, the 2024 resources, and then the general. And I'm going to show you the drive. It's pretty daunting if you have not been in there yet. But I suggest that you start with like multiple song activities when you're introducing the whole Manie playlist. And then after that, you've got folders for each song, and you don't have to do every song. You can pick, oh, I really like the activity for Grandir, and you're going to do that one. It's really up to you to decide after that how to use the materials.
A good way to start too is every year we create a slideshow that has the bracket, the mashup, the hype video, and then each song presented with short bios of the artists. And so that's how I always introduce Manie, because I just do one song a day. I count backwards from when we start voting, and it's all there for me. And there's a Kahoot that goes with it at the end when you're done with that part. But it's, if you want to just do a little bit, and a little pro tip is, once we start voting, I tend to delve into the songs a little bit more deeply. Pick the one you think is probably going to lose and go over that one, and then you can go back to the other one later on.
And I do something different. I introduce all the songs at one time. I use the Mon Appreciation worksheet that we have tagged here, and I play all the songs for the kids, a little snippet of each one up until basically the chorus, and they decide if they like it. And I don't show them the videos until after they've made their judgments on the songs, because we know how they could be swayed by the videos or not. And then I play lots of games with them using the entire playlist, and then I break it down by song. Just something we all can do it differently. And if you need more ideas, there's plenty in the drive. You can also go to our website, and we have a page that's called Engaging Students with lots more ideas. But trust me, there'll be plenty for you to find in the drive or in the Facebook group. Prior to voting, you want them to fill out their brackets. So that way they make their prediction. And then once the voting starts, they can't change their prediction. And that's how we end up with seeing who ends up winning with that. Michelle, do you want to explain a little bit more about, we have a video showing you how to fill out a bracket if you've never done one, and you can use that video to show the kids. And that's on our Manie Musicale, How It All Works website, webpage. There's a video here about how to fill out the bracket, what to do when the voting process starts, if you want to, give prizes or however you want to do that. But Michelle, if you would like to.
Yeah, and sometimes beginners get a little bit confused, because there are kind of two stages to Manie Musicale. There's the preseason, if you will, if we use the basketball analogy. And that's when you get familiar with the songs and you decide which songs you think are going to win. And so that's when students, once you've gone through all the songs, the students fill out their brackets, and that's their prediction of which song will be the most popular. And for example, a lot of people ask, do you vote with your head or with your heart? Do you pick the one you like the best or the one you think is going to win? Just like in basketball, do whatever you want. It's up to you. And so once the students have filled out their brackets, that is final. You should either collect them and make photocopies or use a site. There's a site called Challenge. Some people use Google Forms, but have some way of, making sure that they don't, or have them, just take a picture of it and submit it on whatever your learning platform is, Google Classroom or whatever, because you don't want to let them, once voting starts, you don't want to let them change their brackets. So then on March 6th, we have our first vote, and predictions are closed, and then they will vote for the two songs that are the first matchup. So this year it's Dépassé and Matin, Midi, Soir. So they'll go on our website and vote, and then whichever song gets the most votes over that 2-day period advances to the next round, and the other one is eliminated, and we never see it again except in the games.
So talking about voting, again, on the teacher page, there is the little trophy for you to get to the voting. We ask that you not share this with the students. We have created a student-friendly one that has less on it, and they just click right here, and it takes them to the voting page for voting of that year. But as you see, like nothing, they can't do anything now. They could click on it, but it'll say that it's it's not available yet. Students don't need to enter an email or anything. They can go straight from there. There are different ways to do the voting. Sometimes if each student does not have their own computer, teachers do it by class. And again, that is something that you will need to figure out what works best for your situation. But we suggest asking your IT department to make sure that the survey legend is allowed, so that there's no frustration on the first day you vote trying to get in. And if there is trouble on the first day, please be patient. We did one year crash survey legend because they were not expecting the number of votes. But now we've worked with them carefully. Amber's worked with them very carefully to make sure that we don't have any more issues like that. Anything else on the voting, Michelle?
Can we pause for a second on the voting part? We're just having a little bit of traffic on the chat here, and I just want to make sure we kind of pause for a second before we get ahead of ourselves. I think it's important. People are asking about, needing accounts, needing logins for all of this kind of stuff. So I think if we want to just address that first and say flat out, there's no need for students to log in or have an account for any reason to participate in this whole competition. Do you guys want to go into it further?
Yeah, we do have a privacy policy that we came up with for this year too. So you can look at that. It's on the website on the about the nonprofit page. But yeah, they can just go to the website, which is www.maniemusicale.info. And even if you forget that, if they Google Manie Musicale, ours is the one that comes up. And so they can just go to the voting page and vote on there. So we are very concerned about privacy, so it doesn't collect any information. I put on the voting forms today, and I put just asked them to pick their favorite song, and I put "Comment s'appelle votre école?" They suggest you ask an open-ended question to prevent voter fraud. Somebody's making a lot of noise.
Yeah, woman's cooking, making dinner.
Sorry,
Okay. There we go. But anyway, but you can just put initials or whatever. They don't have to put the name of their school if they don't want to. It's just to keep them from trying to,
vote more than once. Yeah. And like we said, they don't need to have accounts for anything to vote, but we do have side contests that are going on, and that is not required, but some of those require teachers setting up accounts and doing different things like Flipgrid or some of those. So that's what you'll want to make sure you check with your own people and do what's best for your situation and your school.
Stephanie, is the student landing page on the website?
It is not, but let me put the link in. I can put the link in right now. It was in the original emails that went out. Actually, I don't want
that. There's a question. Could I get the information for Survey Legend? I don't know what they mean. That's just our voting platform. So that's the company that posts the voting page. That's all.
Thank you, Adrienne. She's getting all the links in there. And so Survey Legend has their own privacy policy, but it's the same thing. They don't have to enter an email to vote. They just vote, and that's it.
Yeah, and they should not make any. They cannot make any changes as the votes progress on their brackets. That would be cheating, because they would be looking at, I meant to pick that one, madame. I'm going to change my bracket. Yeah, so they have to decide. So challenge for some of you that's coming up, and somebody was asking about, yes, 2 songs at a time for each matchup. So how the points work, somebody was asking about that. So on the bottom of the bracket, if you're just going old school and you're just using the paper bracket, which is perfectly fine. There are some points on there at the bottom. So like the first round of voting, which would be matchups 1 through 8, they get 1 point. for each one that they win. And then as the rounds progress, they get more points each round. That's how the basketball works. And Challenge is another site that that I use. Not everybody uses it, to help keep track of student voting. So they can fill in their predictions on there, and there's a tutorial, and there's a
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for to show them. But we have a playlist of tutorials.
yeah.
I wonder if it's good to just explain
Right
that, you know, when it comes to the voting or the brackets, there's no massive collection of that data to compare one student from one school to another. That's all internal, in-house, that's done whichever way you prefer to do it. So whatever's easiest for you to keep track of that. Just know that we do like to highlight, I think perfect brackets is something that we like to ask teachers for at the end, but
Yeah.
don't feel that you need to submit something to us in order to see where your students are at in the standard.
Conversely, you can, if you want to. There are two challenge brackets that you can fill out. You can, if you want to play along as a teacher, because we don't want the students just to have all the fun. We have a teacher bracket. So each teacher can turn in a bracket before March 6th. And the link is on the website, and it's, I think it's on the teacher landing page, but it's also.
It is on like the page for games. And
yeah. And on the web, and on the, in the Facebook group as well. So, each teacher, and we do offer a prize for that. In the past, Wayside has offered us some prizes for that. And so you can do that. And if you also want to submit one bracket for your whole school, just for bragging rights, you can. So you would say, you know, Falmouth Middle School, Falmouth, Maine, USA, and you, decide which songs are the most popular among all of your students, and just submit one bracket if you want to. But again, a lot of this is completely optional. You can just do as much or as little as you want. So, don't get overwhelmed. A lot of people just kind of sit back and do a little bit the first year and kind of observe, and then they jump right in. Okay, so what's a bracket? Yep.
I'll open up the bracket.
Yep, I'll show the bracket.
Could I answer one of the chat questions that came up?
Please
We
do.
have someone asking that we have a few teachers participating with me. How does it work for them and their students? So Michelle and I work at the same school, and so we tend to decide ahead of time whether we want to do one large kind of bracket for all of us, to compete in challenge, or if we want to do it based on grade level or such. Is that what your question was, Fuad, or is it also about submitting for the teacher bracket challenge and the school wide?
Thank you for your answer. Thank you.
Say it again.
Yeah, thank you. That's
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you see the bracket?
Yes.
Okay. So someone was asking, what is a bracket?
Mhm.
There you go. Here's our bracket.
So it's, if you know anybody who follows basketball, you can also ask them about the bracket. But basically, we start with the 16 songs, and it's 2 songs at a time, as if you had 2 basketball teams playing against each other. So day 1, you see the little purple 1 on the bracket. It's Dépassé and Matin, Midi, Soir. And so on March 6th and 7th, everybody will vote for those 2 songs. And then the following 2 days, we'll go over to the right-hand side of the bracket and vote for Aquabat or Tu es là. And that song will advance, whichever one wins. And so
But you want your students to have this filled out before the voting starts. So what I do with my students is I give them 15 minutes to go through the mashup again, make their decisions, and they just keep filling it out. They have to do obviously this match and then this match, then match number 3. And when they have a 1 and a 3, they can decide a 9. But having them fill it out beforehand is what you really want them to do.
there is, to answer the question in the chat, there's a test vote on the website. If you go to the voting page, there is a Manie Musicale test vote. So that's still open maybe you can show it, Stephanie. So that way you can know that it works. So yeah, test vote. There it is. Please click here to do a test vote. So yeah, that's all you have to do. So you can check it out.
And again, this website is linked to the teacher website. So here it is right here if you're having trouble finding or getting to it. Bracket, the mashups, and the resources.
Okay, so just to clarify, so there's predicting and there's voting. Okay, so filling out the bracket is the prediction. Okay, so that's like betting, except we're not betting, but it's like guessing who's going to win, trying to guess who's going to win. Then when we have voting beginning, that determines which teams or which songs in this case advance on the bracket. Okay, so it's two separate things. So what happens sometimes, like so I've got my bracket filled out, I picked Dépassé to win round one. And so if it gets eliminated, I've actually got it going several rounds. So if that gets eliminated, then I'm in trouble because then my bracket, that part of my bracket is dead for a little while. But maybe one of my other songs is doing well and advances to the final. Each pair's reveal. Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. Stephanie, talk about the reveals.
We have a wonderful team that puts together these videos that are very full of anticipation. Literally, the kids will be sitting on the edge of their seat, waiting to see who's going to win. And yeah, so are we continuing with the heartbeat at the end, waiting, for the vote? And they go crazy. The kids just go crazy when the winner is announced for that round, whether it was the winner they wanted to win or the winner they didn't want to win. And we use that as a great opportunity for them to start using great language to, show their approval or disapproval and expressing their opinions. It's just a wonderful opportunity for that. Yes, they can vote differently than their predictions. And a lot of kids will do that to try to, I don't want to say sabotage, but they know that their friend is winning over them and they don't want their friend to win or they don't want the other block to win. So they start voting, they get strategic and start voting, based on things like that. My 7th graders always vote with their opinions, what they like. And my 8th graders, once they've done this, they're now very strategic. They'll be like, I think 500,000 students are going to vote for this song. So I'm going to make, they play it a little more and they get a little more invested.
And I often have a student who will try to lose on purpose because I offer a consolation prize for the worst bracket. Yes. Watch 2 videos, fill out the bracket, then on voting day, they vote for the song. Yep. Sean, you've got it. Yep. Yeah. And in terms of like sometimes people ask about prizes. So teachers are responsible for prizes within their own classrooms if they want to give prizes, or you can just say, yay, you won. There is merch available on our website if you want to have like official Manie stuff, but you can also just, go to Target and buy some French chocolates or whatever you want to do. So that's that. But we do have some prizes. Manie does offer some prizes for some of the bigger contests, like the flip contest. I don't know, Will, do you want to say anything about the flip contest?
There's a good question, Michelle, that we're going to need to address in the chat after Will does this.
Yes. Yep. Go ahead, Will.
You want to take that question first and then I'll chime in on flip?
Okay. So the question is about the reveal video. So students get very invested in this. So if you've never done Manie Musicale, fasten your seatbelts because it's quite something. And they want to know who wins immediately. And so what has happened in the past is that students have found ways to sneakily find out the results before the reveal videos are presented in class. So we used to just put the reveal videos on the website and then teachers would show them in class, but some students would look ahead of time and say, haha, your song lost, blah, 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 and they kind of ruin it for everybody else. So you got to have that talk with them about don't ruin it for everybody else. So last year we tried to hide the page with the reveal videos, but students still found it. So this year we're doing something different. It's an experiment, so hopefully it'll work. And please be patient with us. But we have created a password protected teacher only separate website. And so if students go to that website, I don't know if can you show it, Stephanie?
That's what I'm trying to like.
Did we verify that
I don't
all of
think
our
I have it
people on here are
activated.
Teachers?
Yeah.
There are
Sorry.
no students on this call, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can show them. It's actually, it is linked on the website, but if they get to the first page, it'll just say Manie Musicale teachers only. And if they try to click on Manie Musicale 2024, it might be on the teacher page. I don't know. Yeah, look on the for teachers over on the to the yeah for teachers. Anyway, yeah, up on the top.
Oh,
Teachers, yeah. But anyway, so it sends a virus to the Chromebook. So anyway, so if they try to click on the teacher only website, and they try to get into the Manie 2024 page of that website, it's password protected. And so we are going to send out, there it is. Okay. So see, anybody can find that, although I've tried to make it not easily findable. Wix keeps asking me, do you want to make your website on a directory? I'm like, no. And so if you try to get onto, if you scroll back up, Stephanie, if you look at the Manie 2024 up in the left-hand corner, so if she clicks on that, you have to enter your password. Okay, so we're going to send that out. We're looking carefully through the registration form and verifying that the people that are registered are actually teachers to the best of our ability. And we will send that out just prior to voting. We'll send the password. And it's really important not to share that with anybody, and don't share it with like in the Facebook group, because students infiltrate the Facebook group all the time despite our best efforts. So if someone says, you know, oh, I can't find the reveal video, can you post the link? Or I can't, what's the password for the teacher site again? Don't tell them unless you know them personally. Okay. Because otherwise, you know, then we have to, you know, change the password. I don't know, whatever. It'll spoil it for people. We have a question from Jillian.
Yes, hi. I just was wondering, this is the first time that I am the teacher sort of with more knowledge about Manie Musicale, and I've only really been through it once myself. So I filled out the form and I put myself as the primary teacher, and I did add the other French teacher and her email and all of that. Is she good to go then?
So
Or-
you need to share the information with her, because so
Okay.
we have constant contact, or whatever it is called, our email thing.
Yep.
We just send it to the lead teacher. So
Okay.
forward that to anybody in your school. Anytime you get information from us, please forward that.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we covered prizes. We've covered voting. You raised your own hand, Michelle?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to see if there were other people with hands raised.
And so obviously this goes on for weeks and weeks and weeks. And it keeps building the excitement, and you can choose to do a reveal however you would like to do a reveal. Michelle and Amber do a whole school assembly for that, or a French student assembly. I'm going to try that this year. In the past, my classes have worked out that they don't see another class that could give them that information. But this year, our schedules, there is a break between class periods, so they could pass information. And I think I'm going to hold an assembly to do the reveal video. final reveal video.
So, how do you know that you're registered? We don't send out any sort of confirmation, but if you, you should have gotten a copy of your responses when you filled out the Google form. And if you try to register again, it will say that you've already registered. So you should be good. We just don't, it's too complicated to try to send out individual emails to everybody. There was something else in the chat I wanted to, let's see. We have some questions also. We have some hands.
There's, Michelle, the question about the reveal video. If it's been a couple of days and everybody has, in essence, gotten a chance to reveal it, will it be available anywhere else? Or are we only going to put it on that teacher protected page?
That's a good question. I think originally we were going to do it that way, but I don't know. We're also on the on that site, we're going to have there will be a folder, so you'll have the reveal videos on the Wix site, but we'll also have a link to a teacher only folder. So I think what we're going to try to do is keep them in there. So like once you have the link to that folder, you don't have to go through the Wix site, you just keep that somewhere so that you can access the reveal videos. We have Sean has a raised hand.
Sorry to interrupt, Sean. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sorry. No worries.
I just want to, there's another follow-up question that just came up at the same time that I want to make sure is clear, that's along the same lines. When it talks about that final reveal happens, can we access the reveal videos once we return? I believe we're just going to have a stream of reveal videos like statically on that website. So they'll never go away. It's just
Correct.
a matter of keeping them password protected. Sorry. Thank you, Sean.
Yep.
No, thank you. That actually kind of answered my question. I have two. One is the, so we don't have to really start at the same time. The voting can happen, like we can pretend that this is an ongoing activity with our students, and no matter when we start doing it, it's okay. That's my, no? Am I wrong in
the voting is only within a small window of 2 days per vote.
But
Again, like if you have a, if you have a school vacation or something like that and your students can't vote with everybody else, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, they have more investment in it if they're voting for themselves, but it's not gonna, we've got so many participants now, it's not gonna realistically make a huge amount of difference. So, you can, some people will vote on their own schedule toward the end of the year, and then they compare what their school picked to the real vote for the, the global vote that we did in March and April.
Okay. So my second question is, you guys were talking about a buddy system. Unfortunately, I have no one in my school who teaches or knows even about Manie Musicale. So how does it work? Because
Well,
yeah.
Will, can you talk about buddies? And
I have no idea what he's talking about.
I know.
We posted the form beginning of February, Sean, for people who are interested in the buddy system. We're thinking about reopening pretty soon as we finish the initial pairings. So keep tuned, because what we try to do is match someone in your region to pair up so that you can get some extra help. Where are you located?
Halifax.
Halifax,
Canada.
Okay,
Yeah.
So we'll find someone in that region if we open the form again, and that's something that our team will talk about probably within the next week or so, because I think we just finished the initial pairings and those went out. Okay.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So if you, we'll take a look right now, or you can just send me a message or post again on Facebook in the forums and find out who the buddy teacher is in that area. I have the form up here, but I'm not going to go looking through it. It's just a lot.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know. Thank you.
Will, did you want to say something about Flip while you've got the
Yeah,
floor?
Flip is to me one of the best parts of this, because we get students who are talking in French with each other to other students all over the world. We have an incredible Flip team. led by the lovely Juliette Moore. It's something I think I've been doing almost since its inception. And I think right now, Dis Bonjour is about to open up if it hasn't already. I'm going to give you guys a quick link to the document that you guys can download as just to give you an idea of what you have the students say to present themselves, so you can get them to practice their speech for about 30 seconds and say, hi, my name is, this is where I'm from. I like this group because, and there's no way in heck that Tourayon is going to win. And we should all be, anyways, at least I don't, no one in Troy is going to vote for it because that was part of my Musique Mercredi. And my kids were like, really? Is this the best you got? Anyways, I liked it. She's adorable, but that's just me. And then we have, I think we're going for 5 categories this year. We have danser, chanter, animer, réaliser, and jouer this year. So jouer is for an instrument. Danser, students will do a dance. Réaliser, they'll direct a little music video. Chanter, they'll sing. And animer, they'll do an animation. So guys, if you guys want, you guys can come after my kids because they really enjoy this stuff.
Yeah, he always wins. Let's defeat Will.
I don't. My students do, but they like the challenge. Now they have now they have to defend their title.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The young lady who did one of the videos last year is graduating, and she just was just in a play called Almost Maine, and she was phenomenal. It was just one of the best plays we've seen in 10 years, and so it's a lot of fun. And we look at about maybe 3,000 plus videos a year with our team. So it's worth every second of it.
And you don't have to do it. Because my students, we have not yet participated in, I'm one of the organizers, simply because it just doesn't fit into what we're doing. We do later on watch them and talk about them, but at the time that they're due and submitted, it doesn't work out for us. But so just keep that in mind as well.
I like what Stephanie says. You don't have to do it. And I give my students, I say, you have to do one. You have to submit one just to participate, to show that there's an interest, but they get to choose. And it ranges from year to year. So last year I had a lot of kids who wanted to do animation. I think the years before I had a lot of them who wanted to do music. So it fluctuates. But it's a choice, but they have to do at least one.
Andréane wants to say a little bit about Les Maniaques,
which is linked on the teacher page on the bottom.
Would you be so kind to share your bonjour? Would you be so kind to share the teacher's landing page so that I can show where Les Maniaques are located? So welcome wherever you are from, joining an amazing experience for your students. To me, Manie Musicale is a beautiful puzzle, and you might choose to do the one that has just a few pieces and one that has a lot of them. And then if you and your students and your curriculum allow you to do that, you might also decide to go 2 or 3Ds. So she just took you to the teacher's landing page, and hidden in the very bottom left corner are Les Maniaques de Musique. So we happen to be, I think we're going to call ourselves veteran Manie teachers. I believe for most of us, it's our 4th or 5th year. And if you go click on the pre-episodes, would you be so kind, Stephanie, to do that?
The pre-episodes?
Yeah, I'd like for you to click on numéro 0.3. If you are willing to spend, I'm going to say a big 20 minutes or give it as a homework, you click on 0.3. If you can only do one, please do this one. It's called Comment parler à nos artistes, because our students are very savvy with social media. And sometimes out of naivete, they ask questions to some of our artists that they don't understand, that are inappropriate. Like they would like to chat a one-on-one with this artist too, because they really are into creating music. And I think it's a valid question, but they don't understand the minor, major, adult situation, maybe sometimes there, or sometimes they're just plain not kind. And so this episode is beautiful. It's 8 minutes long. You're going to see some of us three lead teachers, some of our students. If your students have finished what I would call the end of French 1, or they are about a month into an A2 level, if you're somewhere else using the European framework, this is almost too easy for them because we speak rather slowly and we use simple verb tenses and vocabulary that we repeat. For you, the teacher, may I ask you, Stephanie, to go click in the middle icon? I promise I'm going to use only 1 more minute. So here we added some links for you teachers, okay? The chat mats, things you might use. And then would you be so kind to scroll down a little further? Yes. So now there's a questionnaire for every one of our episode. And the questions are written in French. And if you scroll down some more, then you get them all in English because there's various things happening. And you also get the answers, okay? And so I think that in many schools, it's used as enrichment. You decide if it's a great listening activity for your students. And so the ones for the preseason are available on the students landing page if you want them to do 0.5, 0.6, 0.7. Maybe they don't know what is the NCAA basketball tournament. Especially if you're from another country, that might be pretty cool to learn. There's another one, where are the participants too many? And so we welcome, at the time we're filming, there's 29 of the 31 countries we have today. We welcome them and we teach the prepositions that go before the feminine, masculine countries and whatnot. And then there's another one about kindness, where we really go there into the netiquette. Now we have still on the, if you'd be so kind again, Stephanie, and I really will show one last thing. Now we're started in tour 1. So if you could go back on pré-épisode at the top, that's it. If you'd go one back from pré-épisode, a little higher, Stephanie. I'm sorry. There we go. Yes. And so voilà, les commentary team, les maniacs, if you click on that, you're going to see tour 1. On the left of pré-épisode, a little higher. There we go. Merci. So now we see tour 1. And those are going to be the matches 1 through 8. We publish on Wednesdays and Sundays. We're really aiming for 6 minutes. And I know what we produced yesterday is 10 meaningful minutes. And we're really wrestling right now to have meaningful contents because we understand that minutes are precious in a classroom. So we try to make that relevant. So what did we do in Tour 1? We're talking about the 2 artists and the 2 songs that are going to compete against each other. And we also have a segment where teenagers answer younger students. And it's nice because then we collaborate from around the world. So again, this to me, if I were a newbie, is enrichment. Maybe I have a snow day or something is happening in my life and I want to give something meaningful to my students and it's a simpler lesson plan for me. Please go there. It can be used all kinds of ways. And hopefully by the time that it'll be year 2 or 3, you're just going to want to do them all because you see the relevancy for you, or you'll want to submit some footage of your students discussing those songs. Merci beaucoup and welcome to all.
Also, Stephanie, can you, I don't think you showed the quick start guide. Can you show that?
Yep.
Yeah. And I just want to say while she's finding that, you know, we are a team of a lot of volunteers and, you know, I mean, Andréane's team and the flip team and the art contest team and so many different groups are helping to make this magic happen. It's really a beautiful thing. So, you know, please don't think that it's just Stephanie and me just like doing all this stuff. It really, we have good people and they run with it. And, you know, I mean, we do some things, but mostly we just, you know, Will does anything I tell him to pretty much, except behave himself. Anyway.
So
I'm married, I'm used to it.
This is the quick start guide that I started and then I lost steam because, you know, we're all busy. And Julie BA helped us finish it. And it's awesome. So there's a table of contents. So if you need like how to get to the Manie buddy system, digital literacy, and there are tabs all on the side. And there are pro tips, resources, anything you might have, first steps. Oh, let me try to open that. And so you've got, you know, a handwritten guide rather than an oral guide of what you need to do, or what you can do, I should say. Anything else, Michelle, on that?
I don't think so. I was just putting in the chat too that we have, you know, if you're getting any pushback about curriculum and standards and what are you doing, just listening to music and dancing all the time. We have a fully articulated novice curriculum.
Look, it's right here on the teacher
There it
landing page.
is. We've got, you know, I mean, there's so many things. We've got cross-curricular connections. You know, there's so many ways that this helps students acquire language and uses proficiency. And, you know, just having, you know, have an administrator. If you're going to be observed, get observed on a reveal video day. You know, I mean, they're going to be so impressed with how engaged the kids are. It's just amazing. So. Although
I have to admit, after 10 years, my administrator looks at me and says, I still don't get it.
Well, neither does Stéphane Lagarde. It's all good. So one of the great things too about Manie is that a lot of times we get interaction from the artists, not usually the bigger artists, but like some of the, yeah, Stephanie's going to find it on the website. But you know, they will make us videos. We've already gotten a couple of videos from Leco, and sometimes we'll even have Zooms with the artists or things like that. So it's really pretty incredible because students, you know, somebody might be like, Madame, so-and-so, you know, Flo responded to my post on his Instagram account or whatever it happens to be. So it's really cool. Hence the importance of, you know, having, using the Maniac Netiquette video to make sure you talk to students about, you know, how to be respectful and not just say you're sucks or whatever it happens to be. But it's a magical thing. Rosa has a question.
Oh, hi. Well, I'm a veteran to Manie already. This is my 4th year, but to all the newbies out there, I think it is important to take an afternoon and just go through the Manie website and go through each of the tabs. I remember that's what I did on my first year. I just went through each tab and checked everything off. You may or may not have the time, but doing that really saves you a lot of time later. And I go through the Google Drive and I check every single thing. And I think that's many of us teachers do that just because some teachers come up with wonderful resources. And as an educator, I've grown a lot through Manie. And for the newbies, you have to take that PD and go through the Google Drive, go through the whole website. And that is going to answer a lot of your questions. That's it. Thank you.
We have a help desk. So there's a click here, get to the help desk. We have frequently asked questions. We have the guide. Lots of ways to find the answer. But I do suggest you sign up for a buddy.
Don't underestimate the quality of the search capabilities of the Facebook page, because chances are it has already been answered there at some point. And in the years that I've been doing this, it is probably the most selfless group of French teachers I've ever worked with, or just people in general.
Of course, I can't get into it right now. This is the collaborative page, but I need to put on the other one. There's stuff always pinned at the top. Usually a lot of important stuff is pinned and you have to keep scrolling to the right to get some of it, but there's a lot of pinned information there.
Mm-hmm. What other questions do people have, or is there anybody else here who wanted to say something? Some of the veterans who maybe have some words of wisdom. I guess I would just say, again, try not to get overwhelmed. There's a lot of stuff. And again, you don't have to do it all. You do whatever works for you and your students. A fun thing to do is, you know, just teach them the refrains of the songs, you know. There are Zumba videos that Cécile Lenné makes for us. So you can do dancing, you can do There are grammar lessons that you can really, global connections or global challenges for AP. There's a group of AP teachers who kind of work on some AP applications as well. So there's something for everyone. And you won't believe how much fun you're going to have.
Amber, you have a question?
No, I thought someone had their hand raised and it disappeared. So I was just going to say someone had their hand raised.
Yeah.
I would say embrace the crazy.
Mm-hmm.
This just become part of it, and whatever happens, let it happen. Your kids are going to ask the craziest questions, like, why are we doing this? And my first response is, why not? You have 5,000 schools and 500,000 students that are also doing it, and why not share an experience with people who are going through the same thing that you're doing?
And music is a universal language, so let's just embrace that in French.
Yeah, well, so is beer, but we're not doing that.
Well, there was a question about finding out when they will hear about the buddy, when they'll find out if they're paired.
Email should have started going out this weekend. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I love this idea that Kelly just shared of this watch party with some other teachers. I think that would be great if you post, Kelly, on the Facebook, teachers group of Manie Musicale about that, because I think it's really important that you just understand it's about making connections with other French teachers and your students. So reach out and just share that out, and I'm sure others would do the same. That sounds great.
And your kids are going to meet other kids who are doing this in their schools. Michelle has a great story about one of her students going to camp, and talking with her cabin mates, and you do that, I do that, my class, So it's a great way to unite them.
Well, and especially for teachers who are the only French teacher in their school, that all of a sudden students realize that they're part of something bigger and they're not the only ones learning French. And it's very cool. I was at a county fair at this past summer, and I had a Manie Musicale shirt on, and one of the people working there said, "Oh, my school does that." It's just crazy, the connections that you make. So,
and use the wonderful stats that Michelle puts together to practice numbers with kids and context, and the map for geography. There's you could do Manie all year if you wanted to, but pick and choose again.
Yeah. All right. Any last questions or?
I would like to make a plug for the contest.
Oh, yes.
If you have the kids if you know that kid who really likes art, or if you know that kid who likes to sing or who likes to dance, encourage that participation, because there's that one connection that you might have with that one student who wants to do something. If I don't want to listen to a bunch of music and vote. Well, do you like to draw? Pick a song. And there's Smash Doodles last year that all came in, just finding some connection. So they may not like to sing or dance or listen to music, but they may find something in a clip that they might like to draw, a representation. There is something for every student in this.
And as you can see, a lot of them aren't ready yet. Like, we don't have the Flipgrid up or the talent contest linked. So remember to refresh the teacher landing page and the student landing page regularly, because sometimes there'll be 2 or 3 updates a day. Sometimes it'll go a day or 2 with nothing updated, but we link them as we get them. That's why it says coming soon.
Also, you can definitely hook the sports kids. About 2 or 3 weeks in, I tend to do a Quizlet live with the basketball vocab in French. And so every once in a while, there's a student who is not really great at French, but is really good at basketball, and they can figure out what the basketball terms are because they know the sport, and suddenly they're the smart one, and it's so much fun. And then there's also in the resources, the year-to-year resources, there's a chat mat for talking about your basketball picks. and your Manie picks. So it asks you, how's your Manie bracket doing? Like third week of March or something. And how's your March Madness bracket doing? And, are you a basketball fan or not? Or, and there are all kinds of ways that students can engage with that. So, again, it kind of reels them in and gets them hooked. And even if they don't like a song, they can argue about how to, why people shouldn't vote for that song, and learn how to say it makes me want to throw up and fun things like that. They love it.
Victoria has a hand up.
Yeah, building on what the fabulous Mr. Fritz said, I have students. We did the creative challenge. It was kind of like a choice board. It had many, many projects on it. And I'm a grade 6, 7, 8 school. And my grade 8s are begging to do it for the third year in a row so they could try something that they didn't do. Or the one boy who was dancing the Bhangra, actually, to different ones, he wants to do a new one and then put them all together to show how he's done all 3 years together and how he's progressed in his dance. Like, it's amazing what some of these kids have done. And it's like, you know what, here's the creative project. Go for it. And what they have come up with has blown me away. And some of them, like you said, that they didn't like. There was that basketball one too, where you're dribbling the basketball to the tune of the song. Like, it has everything in there. And yeah, wow. Yeah. And that's
was he the one who was dancing in front of the jungle gym last year on the playground? He was dancing outside because he submitted Don't Say, didn't he, last year?
Oh, I'm not sure if he's that one. He seemed to do it in the same room in his house both years. I'm like, you've got to do it in third year in the same place, in the same spot.
I remember the Bhangra dancing last year. We talked about that on Flip. That was amazing.
Yeah. And he is amazing too. He killed his quads doing the Bhangra and doing the dance.
Yeah, we remember that.
By the end, he was toast. It was so cute.
Yeah, we were store watching that one. Yes, it was. We get so many. I mean, it's just so hard to start choosing from these because, and then there was the other one who was dancing with the transitions in the snow and everything that one year. So there were so many that were just. We love that, and we love hearing about that. So those are the stories that keep us going. So thank you, Victoria, for that. That's really great.
All right, I think yes, there is a way to connect via email. We have a help desk. It's ausecours@maniemusicale.info, and it's linked on the website and everywhere. So definitely, I think I'm gonna stop the recording at this point.
Just one real quick thing. Just remember, if you're having a crisis while you're teaching, Michelle and I are teaching. Everybody's teaching at that time. So if nobody answers you, it's not because we're ignoring you. We're trying to either solve the crisis or we're teaching and don't know about the crisis yet. So just please be patient.
Yes, absolutely. And let us know if you see anything that's off, like if there's something inappropriate in the Facebook group posted or something like that. That happens sometimes. So you can report things that seem off as well.
Did you mention permission slips?
No, we did not. So yeah, we do have some permission slips for some of the optional contests, just to make sure that everything, that there's permission for things to get submitted to Flip and the art contest and things like that. So that also exists. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording, I guess, unless you want to add anything, Stephanie, if anybody wants to hang on and has a last minute question, but I'm gonna stop the recording. And thank you so much for, a couple people are joining now. I don't know if they maybe got the time.
The time zone. But someone did ask if we could post the link to this soon so that they could use it.